This is an Oklahoma Votes election update.
Good evening. The results are rolling in on this primary election day, and it looks like we have a lot of races, Craig, that could go right down to the wire.
It does look that way. We have live team coverage for you tonight as Oklahoma Votes. Let's take a look at who's leading the pack among the Republican candidates for governor right now. Boy, look how close this race is right now, with 28% of the precincts reporting former Oklahoma City Mayor Mick Cornett with 26% of the vote. Todd Lamb, Lieutenant Governor Todd Lamb, 26%.
And Tulsa businessman Kevin Stitt, a newcomer to the political scene, hanging in there. She's a strong showing tonight, 24% of the vote. Dan Fisher coming in at 8%. News on 6's Ashley Isbicki is at Kevin Stitt's watch party in Jenks tonight. And Ashley, what's the mood over there right now?
Yeah, it's all smiles and just kind of constantly checking go up this evening. I do want to say that Kevin Stitt did take to the podium about 20 minutes ago. It was short, it was brief. He thanked everyone for coming out tonight to support him and said simply, Oklahoma's turnaround starts tonight. So he's confident. All of his supporters, his friends, his family, co-workers, and businesses here supporting him tonight as more people continue to trickle in this evening. It's pretty loud here, so you can imagine it is quite the scene. And everyone really just kind of excited at this point, hoping that, again, Oklahoma's turnaround starts tonight. That has been his campaign all year long, has been that he can use his business expertise to change the state. He is hoping to do just that. Back to you guys.
All right. Thank you, Ashley.
Thank you very much. It's going to go down to the wire tonight, looks like.
Yes, it looks like headed to a runoff, and any way you'd cut it.
Well, let's check out the race right now for Tulsa County District Attorney. We'll go to the results of that race.
Yes, Steve Kunzweiler, the incumbent, is running for re-election, and we don't have the board on that, but he's actually being challenged by two fellow prosecutors. So that's an interesting race shaping up there. And one of his opponents, I think it's Kevin Fu, has received the endorsement of the Fraternal Order of Police. And here we go, Ben Fu, sorry, excuse me. But Steve Kunzweiler, the incumbent, is looking strong. This is with 16% of the precincts reporting 44%. Ben Fu, who received the endorsement of the Fraternal Order of Police, 30%. And Tammy Westcott also in that race at 26%.
Okay, the big state question, whether to legalize medical marijuana. Let's go straight to those results with 34% of the precincts reporting right now. The yes votes at 54%, no at 46%.
So that's another one that could be very, very close. This is a live look at the Oklahomans for Cannabis watch party. This is at the Circle Cinema, and they certainly like what they see so far. Many of them telling us they're very confident about what's going to happen tonight, and others say this could create even more problems for our state.
We will be here throughout the evening bringing you the latest election results. We have crews all across the state of Oklahoma, so keep it here. We'll be back a little bit later.
This is an Oklahoma Votes election update.
Welcome back to our Facebook Live, YouTube, and NewsOn6.com and NewsOn6 app coverage of 2018 Oklahoma elections, the 2018 Oklahoma primaries. That's happening tonight as well. Not only primary elections, of course, but state question 788, medical marijuana, that is also on the ballot. So let's, for now, take a look at where we're at with the vote totals. We have almost 45%. So we're at 41% of precincts reporting across the state. And the yes votes are 55%, the no votes are 45%, and that has been a number that up until now, those two numbers, 55 to 45, they've approximately stayed that way. It's been kind of that 10% cushion that the yes votes have had on the no votes. And again, this is not a primary at all. Whether it's a yes or a no, that will be the final decision tonight on medical marijuana. So we have seen News on 6's Amy Kaufman at a very lively party of 788 supporters over at Circle Cinema here in Tulsa. So Amy, what's the mood there now? 41% of precincts reporting, and they're still up.
Dave, the atmosphere here is just incredible. So many supporters, including Sean Jenkins here. He's here with his son Carver, who tells me that he really could benefit from this legalization of medical marijuana.
It's the best chance at giving the highest quality of life we can for Carver. That would be seizure free.
And I mean, how would it make you feel to see this pass tonight?
Well, I guess the best way I can put it is the exact opposite of how I've been feeling, which is helpless and hopeless, and that watching my son have organ damage because of pharmaceuticals, and then having a medicine that's already in 30 states shown to be beneficial to others. As of right now, we are extremely happy, and if everything continues to go the way it seems like it's tracking right now, Carver soon is going to be able to have a non-toxic, non-lethal medicine that was given to us by God, in my opinion. So.
Yeah, and I mean, he's tried some other things before, and how have they worked for him?
Currently, Carver is on 2 pharmaceutical medications to control his seizures. Neither completely control his seizures. He still has one usually every day, and of course it is damaging not only to his brain, which someone with a brain disorder, that's already hard enough, but as well as because of the pharmaceutical medications that he's taking, that slowly is deteriorating his liver and his kidneys, and no 6-year-old should have to go to regular blood testing and make sure that their liver function is okay due to medication.
And you have another daughter that also has a brain disorder as well, correct?
Yes, I do have a daughter that has a brain disorder. It's not as severe. She does suffer from epilepsy as well. So this is a big thing to our family, and not only do we in my close family support this, but all the grandparents, uncles, aunts, cousins, all of us as one big Oklahoma family, we support it because we all have the same core, I guess, that we want to make sure no one suffers, and God gave Carver to us, and we're going to take care of him as best we can.
As you can hear, a lot of people are cheering as the votes just came back across the screen. But how long have you guys been fighting this fight?
Behind the scenes, I'm sorry, Carver. Behind the scenes, we've been fighting for years, and we became a lot more public about it this last year. But originally, my family helped gather signatures for 788, so to be in a campaign now that it's at the end, and hopefully we can help Carver, it just means the world to us. It just means the world to us. I'll probably cry later. I'm going to try to keep that together now, though.
Well, we'll continue to watch here from the party here at Circle Cinema, and we'll have live updates on News on 6 and here at NewsOn6.com. But for now, Dave, back to you.
News on 6's Amy Coffin, and from Circle Cinema, thank you very much. You know, we did inquire about, of course, the opposition, and if they're having a watch party. 788 is not medical coalition. Send us an email saying, just a note, that our coalition is not having a watch party tonight. They sent this yesterday, so they're not having a watch party. We will send out a statement, they say, once the outcome of the election is clear, as our communication for the evening. So again, that was from the communications group at 788 is not medical. Let's turn now to Aaron Conrad, right in the midst now of a crowded Republican primary for governor. And Aaron Conrad is with a Tulsa candidate, one of the many Tulsa candidates, Gary Richardson. Aaron?
Well, hey, Dave, we're here at the Gary Richardson watch party. Things are pretty good out here. A lot of people pretty upbeat. There's about 100 people here, but things not looking so good for Richardson in the polls. I just spoke with his campaign manager, who tells me he's about 6th. It doesn't look like he's going to break the top 3, so we might be hearing from him here at about 8:45 to hear what he has to say about all that. But you know what? So far, everyone in this room has been talking about Gary Richardson and the impact he's had on their life. Of course, he's a prominent Tulsa attorney. He's served a lot of different roles here in Oklahoma, particularly as a lawyer. And a lot of folks in here have told me personal stories about how he has helped them in their fight in some way. And so a lot of people here really love Richardson, are going to stick this out, see what happens in the polls, and are really just waiting to see exactly what all the results are. So it seems like nobody's really leaving just yet, even though the numbers aren't looking too good, but we do expect to hear from Gary here at about 8:45, so we're looking forward to hearing from him and finding out what he has to say about the numbers and how they're looking. Dave?
And Aaron, I wanted to mention, of course, you mentioned that it's not looking great in the polls at this point, and if we can ask Aaron another question, I don't know if we can, but yeah, Aaron, I was just wondering if you had kind of heard any rumblings of who maybe another candidate that Richardson supporters may throw their support behind if things don't pan out, if you had heard anything like that tonight.
You know, so far, no one has really said anything to me about anybody that they would really put their vote behind. I think they're really waiting to see who gets in that top spot. I mean, at this point, I think there are a couple different candidates that people here have kind of tossed their names around, but nobody has really kind of said anything about an overwhelming support of an alternative candidate. It'll be interesting to find out, to see if Richardson puts his support behind someone if he does not gain in the polls. So we're really waiting to hear what's going to happen and if Richardson will support someone else if he does not get the nomination. Dave?
Yeah, Aaron, absolutely right. And, you know, as you mentioned, it's very early in this Republican primary still. Polls closed just about an hour and a half ago. And if we can put up the graphic that shows the latest numbers, the latest poll numbers on the Republican primary candidates, it is very, very tight. 43% of precincts reporting. And first of all, we want to thank Aaron Conrad. Thank you so much for that live reporting. But our governor candidate for Republican primary, this is what it's looking like. Todd Lamb and Mick Cornett now tied at 26% with 43% of precincts reporting. Kevin Stitt, Tulsa businessman, down there at 24%, but again, very close. And we do expect a runoff. That was long expected in this race with so many candidates on the Republican side. So a runoff is looking likely at this point. But again, Todd Lamb, 26%, Mick Cornett, 26%, Kevin Stitt, 24%. Dan Fisher in 4th right now at 8% of the vote. And moving on, you know, there's several different pages here that we can go through, but Gary Jones is running as well as Gary Richardson. So Gary Richardson at last check is about 5% of the vote. Let's take a look at the Democratic primary for governor. 2 are running for this seat, and now almost 50% of precincts reporting here, and Drew Edmondson continues a very comfortable lead as he's had all evening long here since the polls closed. Even from very early on, Drew Edmondson jumped out, and he's now 64% to Connie Johnson's 36%. For governor for the Libertarian ticket, there are 3 in this race, so this could also be headed to a runoff on August 28th, depending if anyone gets 50% plus 1 vote. That's the threshold to eliminate the possibility of runoff. If you're under 50%, it's going to a runoff in this race. So it looks like right now, Chris Powell has garnered 656 votes overall, and he has a 47% to 32% lead over Rex Lawhorn. Third place is Joe Exotic of Wynnewood. Now to the lieutenant governor. Again, there was some talk this year of will this role eventually be combined and governors and lieutenant governors will have to run on the same ticket. Well, that's not a law right now, so you're still having to run in the state of Oklahoma. You have to run separately as a governor and lieutenant governor. Again, that could change in the future, but right now, lieutenant governor race, the Democratic primary, Anna Dearmore up 52% to 48% over Anastasia Pittman in a very tight race there. And again, we're almost at 50% of precincts reporting, so things are moving along very nicely this evening as numbers are coming in pretty hot and heavy right now. Now, the lieutenant governor on the Republican side, the Republican primary for lieutenant, we've got Dana Murphy continues to hold her lead as she has from very early on. Dana Murphy, 45% lead to Matt Pinnell's 37%. Eddie Fields far back in third at 14%, and Dominique de Monblanc at 4%. Let's talk a little bit about the superintendent of schools Republican primary. Joy Hoffmeister, the incumbent, still hasn't passed that 50% threshold. She's at 46%, so it's a possibility of a runoff in this one. Hoffmeister, 46%, Linda Murphy, 31%, Will Farrell, 23%. Moving on to the congressional races, this is very competitive because of the fact that Jim Bridenstine is now at NASA, so he's no longer the representative for District 1 in Oklahoma. So District 1, which covers Tulsa, Washington, Wagner, and parts of other counties, Tim Harris, 28%, Kevin Hearn, 24%, and Andy Coleman at 23% of the vote. But if you look at the precincts, only 30% reporting in that race. So still a long way to go in that very tight Republican primary. So that's it for now for Facebook Live, for our YouTube viewers, newson6.com, our News on 6 app. Thank you for watching. We will be back in a few minutes. And of course, we're going to go over to TV to hear more from Craig and Terry and our crews out in the field.